Hi there, this is Marlene. How you guys doing? And welcome back to this podcast. As you know, as I'm going through this journey of growing daily and every second, every moment with God, with walking with the Lord, or walking with Jesus Christ Himself, and really having that intimacy relationship with Him on a one-on-one basis, or just giving Him the glory for who He is, and what He has done, and being grateful for what He's given me, even with the little I have, which I'm still grateful for. Well, I'm here because you know what? Today, I hope that you guys had a good day today, and it's a beautiful afternoon. Just to tell you guys this, just to say that, and glory be to God for the sun that's still outside, for the wind that's blowing, for the birds that chirp this morning, the fact that I'm here, that you guys are here, that you guys have breath. His breath is breathing in our lungs. So glory be to God, and I'm grateful for that. Thank be to God. Well, while I was working today, I was listening to, one of the YouTube ministers. What I say, I call it YouTube ministry, and this guy has a powerful deliverance ministry, and he had a guest on there today, where they were talking about, how to pray and how to communicate with God as far as letting our petition know, our request known. As we know that in the scripture, especially in Philippians chapter 4, verses 6 and 7, it gives you that that instruction to how to pray, as well as in other chapters too, when like in a chapter in the book of Matthew, where Jesus actually showed his disciples how to pray. If you can't pray the Our Father prayer, some of you guys may be familiar with the prayer if you guys don't know how to pray. But he mentioned something about Psalms, because I'm still in the book of Psalms, and I'm always observant when I'm listening to to the key points that I listen to. It resonates. For some reason the Spirit makes it resonate with me in my spirit. As I was listening, he mentioned Psalms 124, verses 1 and 2, which verses 1 say, if it had not been the Lord who was on our side, now may Israel say. And verses 2 repeat itself too, in a way too. If it had not been the Lord who was on our side when man rose up against us. And I thank God for all those times He has been with me, especially when people, God bless his soul. But for example, when my brother, and God bless his soul, that there was time where we bicker, we bump heads because of the fact that I would sing worship songs and give God the praise, the worship. It used to agitate him back then too. Not just that, but being taken advantage of, having my trust, having trust issues because of the fact that I made wrong decision, and I had people in my life who just took from me, and I was giving and casting my pearls down to swines and getting nothing back from it, but just getting grief. But in these circumstances and situations, especially in my since I'm a divorcee, being with my ex-husband, though that relationship was a bit it was toxic, because a man that curses out a woman, or a woman cursing out her husband, I believe, me personally, that's a toxic relationship that could lead to something worse. But it taught me in that relationship that because I used to be scared to be a wife, to be honest. And I got married for the wrong reason. I got married because I thought, okay, he was my husband, or my meant to be. But it didn't end up being that way, because everything started off wrong. And what I noticed too, going back into remembrance of that, it was obstacles there that would prevent me from seeing him, but I just didn't pay attention. But sometimes God would put obstacles there just to get our attention, just to warn us, or just to protect us. But we don't see it that way all the time. We just do whatever we want, and we don't see the warning sign, and we just do things out of order. And sometimes we blame God for those mistakes, but trust and believe His angels are there guiding us, and putting blocks of in these paths that we think that is a good path to go, but it's not. Because even in that marriage itself, which only lasted 2 years, it didn't make sense for me to be in that marriage because he was using me just to get paper. But to God be the glory how that works, where he didn't end up having his papers, and I ended up, filing for divorce. I left him in New York, and I came back to Miami, back to Florida, and filed divorce. And the divorce process was quick for me in that, in that state. And I thank God for that, because going back, I take back from my mistake. I don't draw, overthink all my mistakes. Not overthink, but draw on the mistakes so much. Maybe that's the past, but you learn from your mistake of the past. You learn that, you pick up some things that you learn. Like, I learned how to be a good wife. I learned that, I'm capable of being a good wife to someone, because that was one of my fear, that I was not going to be a good wife, that I can't live with someone. But best believe, who would have thought I would have been, a person being in that position, being in that relationship. It actually grew me and positioned me to take initiative to, make sure the bills are paid, make sure that I'm cooking and everything. But it did prompt me, and it grew me in that aspect. But then again, when you put yourself where you're out of the alignment of God's plans and will for you, it's a delay, because God always has something there for us. But it caused us to delay our blessing, and mostly his, our blessing, which is his purpose for us, which is good for us. So it's, that was back in 2015 or 14 that happened. And look at me now in 2022 now, thinking of the goodness of the Lord, because there was situation where I literally got myself in situation, in food. When I mean foolish situation, I mean God is awesome. I thank God for the angel that was with me, doing foolish things that could have gotten me, really killed, really in a worse predicament. But thinking about it now, if it wasn't for God's glory and mercy, glory be to God, that a lot of things could have happened. But I was covered. And I thank God for covering, because we have to think back to these things too, where we got ourselves in situation. I could give you another thing too that I got myself in, like going to Jamaica, before I met my ex-husband, because being in Jamaica by myself, with his family, not having no one that I knew there that much personally. But look how God works. I was protected, I was fed, and they were nice people. But that situation itself is that situation. I don't want to go into detail, but all I can say is glory be to God. If it wasn't for the Lord who was on my side, glory be to God. Anything could have happened. There's things that even when I became a believer when I was younger, he covered me from situation. We have to thank God for the little things. I thank God for the little things. For the things that we were so naive, things that are, like I said before in one of my podcasts, that I'm a Haitian descent, and my parent, even my natural mother at the time, didn't talk to me about being a woman. They didn't talk to me about, be careful, when you walk out there, like, there's predators out there. Things like that I learned from school. I didn't get that home training, that training and that talk. Like my son now, he has it, he has a good with me where I talk to him at times about certain things. But something he do, I did speak to my son about certain things he learned from school as well. Because he told me that, Mom, we already know about that. This talk about this in school. But there's things, this is where, some of us, I know us, before we became believers, we learn things from the street, we learn things from the world. And this is where it's scary, where, it is scary from, and this is where I feel like we as parents, even myself, at times, we may fall short in that, the world is out there and they will teach your kids. We have to take initiative, and we have to take our position as parents, because God gave us charge over these children to guide them in the way they should go, to instruct them godly. But moving forward, if it wasn't for the Lord for myself, I literally gave my son up to God, and I see a change in him, and I thank God for that. Every time I see a change, I think I give God the glory, because there's nothing we could do in our, and out of our own might and will, because really we're just we're just, walking clay on this earth. And, God is in control. If we give him and submit everything to him, he will turn things around to, for his glory. That's why I give God the glory, because there's nothing of this on this earth that's mine. And I can claim that's mine. I'm sorry, but no. Even with the food that I see that, that's in the, that's in here around the living room, the box of food, the seasoning and everything, how he used people to, to help provide for me. That's God himself. I think, I give him the thank you. I am grateful. No, I don't have, no, I'm not rich on this earth, and that's fine. As long as I'm, as I'm in peace, my mind is at peace, because, that mental health thing is serious. Because I could give you another testimony about being anxious, because being in anxiety is not a good thing either. And I mean, to have that peace of God, a peace that surpasses all understanding, especially in the midst of chaos, especially in the midst of uncertainty. God is so good, and I love him. And I'm just, I'm just here, just putting it on this podcast, just to let you guys know that, this journey for me, I'm learning this. Sometimes you have to reflect on the good things too, and the past thing that he has delivered you from. For me, that's what it takes me back to remembrance of the things that God delivered me from. And God covered me from. God provided me, provided for me. I give him things, for every little thing, for every day, for every second and moment, because not even a second is promised to no one. You could fall. You never know if you're going to fall down and lose your breath, that precious breath he gave us. So I thank God for everything. I mean, if it wasn't for the Lord who was on my side, to be honest, I wouldn't be living here. I wouldn't be walking on this earth. If it wasn't for the Lord allowing someone to pray for me, allowing my mother at the time, when God bless her soul, to pray for me, even having people in my lifeline that's praying for me, that's a blessing. That's God himself positioning people to be in your life, positioning others. It doesn't even have to be family members to be in your life, to pray for you, to minister to your spirit, to talk to you, even to to give you reassurance, to give you encouragement that everything will be all right. Just cast your burdens onto him. Like, one of my good favorite songs, it became one of my go-to songs now in this season, is Psalm 55 and verse 22. Cast all your burdens onto the Lord, for he is your sustainer, and he will not suffer the righteous to be removed. And that's glory be to God. He will not suffer you to be moved. Like, just position, everything that's going on, just cast your burdens onto him, because his yoke is easy and his burden is light, and it is wonderful. So I hope that I said something that that will motivate you just to keep going. And remember, he is on your side. He's always with you. He's Jehovah Shammah, which means God is here. So remember, God is always with you, and he's on your side. Cast your burdens and cares onto him, and continue to pray without ceasing, and seek him regardless. Seek him. And I pray that I say something that motivates you to keep on going and keep on persevering. And God bless. Thank you.